Sometimes people get a little bit confused when they're raising chickens, and they end up going to the store, not buying enough, or even overbuying. In this video, I'm going to be telling you everything you're going to need to raise chickens from birth to death. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and your favorite food, and let's begin. So we're going to start off with all the essentials that you're going to need in the brooder. So first of all, the biggest thing you're going to need is of course a brooder. Most of them are typically between about $70 but sometimes can go all the way up to $300 depending on the size and the amount of chickens that you're getting. This can be your first, second, third, fourth time, whatever. For typically your first time you're going to want a smaller brooder, but the second time you're going to want a much larger brooder, which is what we ended up doing over here, especially considering that our first batch of chickens was only 9 and our second batch was 38. The bigger brooder was actually handmade, and you can actually build your own brooder. Another thing that we need in a brooder is a heat lamp. These things are meant to be raised by a little bit every week. That's why you have a chain attached to it. Make sure it never touches the floor or else it'll catch on fire. But the chains, you rapidly move it up once a week, which will decrease the temperature in the brooder by approximately 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which will allow for the temperature to drop. You want to start out at about 90 to 95, and once the temperature in the brooder has decreased to an amount that the typical outdoor temperature is every day, then you should be good to go. Next up, we got pine shavings. This is going to be the thing that helps make chicken coop cleaning and even chicken brooder cleaning a whole lot easier on us, especially since it's going to require less tools. It's just going to require a bucket that you can scoop things in, a scoop that you can scoop the shavings out of, and it makes everything a whole lot cleaner and a whole lot less of a hassle than it would have been if you didn't have that sort of stuff. So make sure to apply it to the brooder about, I want to say probably about 2 inches of it, and want to replace it every week. So that's about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 things. You want to buy 2-3 packets of them per month, which does add up over time, but once they move out to a chicken coop, you're going to need to clean it less often. Now, here is the part where these are probably going to be swapped out later, which we'll get into those again later in the video, but feeding is going to be definitely a huge contributor to this cost. But the feeder is what we want to focus in on. The feeder doesn't have to be mounted on top of anything. You can just put that thing in the chicken brooder, and they'll eventually discover it. Make sure there's tiny holes on it, though, so that way the chickens can easily poke their little heads into it. And then the waterer should be mounted on top of a mount. Doesn't have to be big, should be a smaller one, actually. But the reason why we mount them on that is so that way it doesn't spill onto the shavings and makes us have to clean it more often. It instead allows us to make us clean it much less often. So, if you enjoy saving money or just saving time, then I would recommend getting a 50-pound baby chick feeder. Keep in mind, this is going to be what they're going to be using until they're, I don't know, I want to say about maybe, I'll put the number on the screen. I don't have a script prepared for this video, I am so sorry, but either way, let's move on. Now, this is by far the hardest part. You could either A, build a chicken coop and have to potentially wait hours or even days getting some of the stuff you're going to need for that stuff, or B, get one yourself with the possibility of it lacking any good security features that you want in a chicken coop. Typically, a person-built chicken coop that you build yourself is typically way more reliable than ones you'll typically find at the store. Unless, of course, you look at reviews, then you might find one that's pretty reliable. However, it is much more efficient to build one yourself, but then you have to deal with deadlines. With buying your own chicken coop, there's a lot of pros, but also there's a lot of cons. They're pretty much weighed equally. So you decide in which one you actually want to do, or you could just, buy a chicken coop. Now, you want to have this before week 16, and I'll tell you why real quick, because at about week 16, that's when some of the early laying chickens start to lay their eggs, but after week 16, that's when the majority of the chickens will start laying eggs, so you want to make sure they have these in the coop before that time period, so that way when they're going to start laying eggs, they have a nesting box that they can easily access, or a chicken could sleep there at night if they fall off the roosting bar and don't know how to get back up. Now, this is when your chickens are going to start, laying eggs soon. So about 2 weeks before the first, really early chickens will start laying eggs, what you want to do is you want to go to the store and you want to get yourself some nice layer pellets. Now, these are just about the same price as the other pellets, except they're a little bit different, and a matter of fact, they look a little bit different as well. So, once they're around 14 weeks old, you're going to want to swap out those pellets for the layer pellets. They won't really know, and it'll actually help them a little bit when laying their eggs. And also, if you also happen to have ducks mixed in with chickens, yeah, you can also have them around eating the same type of food. Now, if you have a rooster, this is one I'd 100% recommend that you have, especially considering that roosters are a little bit aggressive, and the way that they mate with the chickens is they jump on their back and typically like to dig their claws into the chicken's back, which unfortunately makes them lose a little bit of feathers. And my rooster Falcon is like 11 pounds and does it with the chickens, which, oh, trust me, I absolutely despise when he does that and consider him putting him into a jail, as a matter of fact, this upcoming mating season. So be careful around roosters, and if you have a rooster that you don't want, don't feel free to get rid of him. I don't care what you do. Now that your chickens are fully grown up, at this point there's a really good chance that they're going to start eating more food to lay more eggs. Now, you might think, oh, they have the grass, they have bugs, but no, they also enjoy eating their regular feeder, so you're going to need a much bigger feeder, or else, yeah, your chickens aren't going to have a lot of room to work with at that point. So make sure they have plenty of feed and also a much bigger waterer. Those waterers, we've had them since 2020, some of them. We've brought them out during middle of a hurricane before, and it's been just fine. They work all the time, and the only way you could possibly break them is if you literally slam them into the ground at like a maximum speed of like 75 miles an hour. They're really durable. I would 100% recommend them, and they're only like $7. Well, you made it this far in the video, so be sure to go down in the comments somehow if you made it this far and comment the number 36, and also be sure to click the video on the screen. It's actually a playlist filled with all my past video essays. This is my 5th one, new one coming next Saturday, 2000 special on the 23rd. Anyways, I'm out. Subscribe.